So for the Black Friday deal, like I spoke about, like making it early, all you guys could, what we will do is if you could send, click help if you're in the application already, click messages, send us a message, and just message Black Friday deal, and I'll have the support team send you the blurb on it, if you want it right away. So just message hello@deepvue.com with the words Black Friday deal. The support team will take care of you, or message it within the application. Send us a message, start that new conversation, and just the words Black Friday deal. So we'll go through each of those tickets probably Monday morning when the support team is back, and we'll send you the offer. I don't want to say it here because we want to offer it to the live attendees. If you're watching the recording, you can still reach out to us, and we'll take care of you that way, and we'll send you the offer. So let's get started. Today's monthly update. We're doing this once a month to give you guys, everything in kind of one uh, webinar or hour, just discussing everything that we've done over the past month. And then we'll also discuss what's coming up in terms of our Q4 roadmap today. So the biggest updates in our platform, ones that you will notice visibly is one, there should be a huge speed boost in terms of just switching between modules. And if you go through and select different watch lists, you'll see things load a lot quicker. So we spent quite a bit of time in terms of making things compatible for older devices. Deepvue worked really well if you have a powerful device. It didn't work too well if you had some older laptop or Chromebook, things of that nature. So it should feel a lot more crisp, smooth in terms of responsiveness throughout the day. And also just interacting with the UI, things should feel a lot better and far smoother. We're not done just yet. The optimization that we did roll out was related to the screener and watch list modules only. And next up, we're going to be doing the same thing on dashboard in terms of loading speed, in terms of how things, when you have, multiple apps on your dashboard, how things feel that way. So if performance is still an issue for you, definitely reach out to us. We don't ex we have worked for 2 to 3 weeks straight, addressing that in terms of older devices. So it should feel really, really good for any device that you're using Deepvue on. The second update I will get out of the way is in terms of the data panel, we had several limitations on an infrastructure level with respect to the number of data points a particular category would support, or number of data points that you could display in the data panel itself. All those limitations are now removed. You can have as many data points as you want in each of these buckets for our data panel. That again is part of our real focus on scalability to support the most harsh use cases in terms of having hundreds of data points being streamed right to your web app at once. So the limit now is a total of 300 data points can be added to the data panel, and there's no limit on how many can be added to each bucket. So that's, again, a way forward for us to make sure that we support the normal use cases, but also the data-heavy use cases where people want tons of data on their screens. In terms of the next thing we'll really dive into today is the data panel updates that we've made. Mostly because we've done quite a bit of work. We haven't spoken about it too much, but I think now is a really good time to discuss that. And then we'll also get into the rating updates that we've done to the RS rating, the EPS rating, in terms of the logic there. And then we'll continue to make improvements in terms of the proprietary ratings that we have. And Richard will also speak to maybe the overbought, oversold indicator that he's working on, which will be live sometime this month as well. So with the data panel updates, over the last couple of weeks, what we've done is really get into making things easy for you guys to look at the markets from a sector, group, industry, and sub-industry perspective. So how do I find the top stocks in a particular sector? If I'm looking at, for example, APP, what are some of the other stocks in that same group that might be acting well? Or what is the industry rank of that particular group that I'm actually trading or the stock that I'm looking at? And giving you guys that information right within the data panel to make it really, really useful. So once you add, and I'll go to settings here. Um, and what you want to do is if you just type in, sector, you will see, you can add the sector for a particular company, which I've added over here already, but you can also add ranks now. So sector rank 1 month, which can also be added. So I've added sub-industry for just demo purposes. So what that does is all of our ranking data points now have a drop down to give you a clear picture as to what are the top ranking sectors, groups, industries, or sub-industries. And we use the GICS framework. If you guys don't know what that is, I would just say Google GICS, S&P, and really learn, how they break down the markets. It's one of the most popular structures, and we've adopted that within Deepvue. So clicking this drop down, what it does is it gives you, what are the top industry groups right now from a rank of 1 all the way down to 159. Some of them we don't rank if they are discontinued. And then the second column gives you the number of stocks that are in that particular industry or group that you're looking at. So this information really emphasizes the fact that are you trading a top, industry group? Is the stock that you're looking at one of the top ones as well? And this updates every 10 minutes in the background. So we always have the latest information as to how the market is functioning and what are some of the top ranking groups as well. The second thing is this is again available on if I want to look at in terms of ranks, if I want to look at sector ranks. Now you know that energy is one of the top ones. The market has 11 sectors, right? So now from a holistic perspective, energy is one of the top, information technology. So whichever level you want to operate at, sector being the highest level and the biggest with the most number of stocks at the biggest umbrella, and then sub industry being the most granular. Some people like to use industry and then sub industry. Some people like to have a holistic picture of which part of the market should I be in, and energy and information technology are the parts to be in, given that their sector ranking is 1 and 2 as well. Now, we do rankings not just on a 12-month basis. We have a 1 month, 3 month, 6, 9, and 12. So the calculations that we do cover what's the top ranking sector or industry over the past month, over the past 3 months, over the past 6, 9, and 12. So we're trying to cater to all different styles. Whereas the default maybe a lot of people would have learned is the 12-month, and they look at the market from a yearly perspective. So we do have that. If you want to go to settings, we even have 1 day. So 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 3, 6, 9, and 12 months. So depending on your trading style, you want to add whichever time horizon fits best. For swing traders, it's likely the 3 and 6 months. For position traders, it's likely the 9 and 12 month. If you want to know the top industry sector, group today, you would add the 1 day, and we calculate that every 10 minutes in the background as well for you. And then on a weekly basis, if you want to see what performed over the last week, you can add 1 week. So it gives you the full flexibility from almost day trading all the way to position trading, and it gives you all the time horizons as well. So that's sector, group, industry, and sub-industry ranks. All that information is really, really clear. When you click one of these, you can really also dive deeper into each of these to see which stocks make up these in terms of what's within energy, what's within information technology, so on and so forth. Um, Richard, did I miss anything or anything you want to add in terms of the ranking of uh, the ranks that we have now added to the platform?
No, I think you covered it well. There was a question about how those ranks are calculated, so maybe you could provide some color on that. And then also, I think, show how to see the top stocks in the industry and sector at the same point, because that's another helpful, way to use the data panel to analyze rotation, analyze the top stocks in a, in a leading group, a leading sector, whatever you want, whatever it is.
So, uh, I had a conversation with the team on Friday to improve it further. But what we do right now is, let's say if I want to know what kind of stocks exist in the energy space, I just click that, and at the top left, you'll see that it will say energy, and all these stocks. There's 298 stocks, and at the bottom, it will confirm there's 298, and you could quickly scroll through the whole sector right away. Right? Now, a lot of people, what they would love to do is to do that on a sub-industry level. And let's say, communications equipment is seven and has 60 stocks. It's a bigger group. You click that, it will say communication equipment at the top. At the bottom, it will confirm you have 60 results. And then you could go through these as well. Now, the beauty of it is you can sort it whichever way you want. So if I were to change my column set to my focus column set. Then I can also, sort it whichever way I like. You can sort it by RMV. You can see the tightest stocks in that particular industry group and really drill down and do top-down analysis that way, right? Then if you X out of it, you go back to the watch list that you were on, and then you want to get back into it, you can go ahead and click either the number of stocks or the name of that particular industry group. So it helps in top-down analysis really, really quickly to, you can find if this is one of the top groups, why is it one of the top groups? Well, it has four stocks. Maybe it's not, the most, it's not the most number of stocks. So if we look at independent energy producers, we can go through these results really, really quickly to see why is it one of the top ones and what's acting really, really well. So that's a good way to find GEV, right? Because it's been trending and acting really, really.
And also show how to find the top 10 stocks in the
Yeah,
group as
I'll
well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's industry ranks. Now next we'll dive into, I'll zoom in a little bit here to make it easy for everybody. Now let's say I am looking at a particular stock, right? Um, let's just pick GEV. Now, what are some of the other stocks in the same industry or sector that are also acting well, or I want to know if GEV is one of the top performing names in its particular sector industry group as well. So for that, we've added these drop downs. When you click, the arrow next to industry, it will give you the top stocks in that particular industry group, the top 10, sorted by relative strength 3 month. I know we've had a lot of requests that people want to do this differently. We want to customize it. They want to add different columns to it over here as well. We'll get into that, later on in Q4. But right now, we give you all the top 10 sorted by RS 3 month. And now if I go through these results, I have all the top stocks in that particular industry group that I can then review just by clicking each of the symbols, right? So uh, VSD is another one that's been acting well. GEV, these are the top two in that particular industry group, and that makes it really, really easy. So if I were to go to, let's say, Tesla is part of, the this particular industry group. Well, XPEV has been acting well there. ZK is another one. LI. So these have rallied on a 3 month basis. These are some of the top performing stocks in that group. So you could do this with pretty much anything that you want. So if we go to APP, for example, APP really solid trend above the 10-day, acting really, really well. So if you go through, if you're going through your focus list, if I go to IoT, well, it says IoT is part of the software industry group, but APP is one of the top stocks in that. MSTR is another one that's acting really, really well, right, up the right side, PLTR, like everybody knows. So it's a really quick way for you to get a hold of, yes, PLTR is acting well, but is it the best name in that particular industry group, or is it not the best name? Or if I want to own multiple names in the same industry group and I want to know what are some of the top ones. Well, you have the top 10 right here, right away, right? The second column that we've included, and this is really, uh, to give you guys an idea of if a stock is relatively tight or forming a consolidation, we've added RMV as the second column. And RMV, the lower the number, right? The tighter the stock is relative to itself. We've added RMV on a 15-day basis. Now, at a glance, I can tell you that the Aki is getting really relatively tight. is starting to form a consolidation based on the RMV data point. The other one is PLTR with the 6. It's starting to get, the closes are starting to get relatively tight. RMV would also show up in this area if PLTR, you had it up. It would also show a low RMV in this area before it broke out as well. So a lot of key information gives you top 10 stocks, gives you how tight the stocks are getting relative to themselves on a 15-day basis. Now, the beauty of it is you could do this on a sector level. You could do it on an industry, sub-industry, group, whichever umbrella fits you best as to how you trade and how you look at the market. So if I want to look at on a sector level, well, AAOI is one of the top ones in terms of performance and how it's moving up the right side on a 3-month basis. GDS is another one that's a really beautiful trend up the right side. APP, obviously, we know has been a monster this year. So that's how you find top stocks in the same sector, group, industry, or sub-industry really, really quickly, and also look at how tight they are with the R&B column added. Richard, anything you want to add there?
No, I don't think so. Do you want to dive into the dashboard and kind of talk through how you can add more than one data panel now?
Yeah, so with the dashboard, what we've done is, for quite a while we didn't have the data panel on the dashboard, and it was one of the the biggest requests to have this, and people want multiple ones. So now data panel has become a app within the dashboard. So if I click new dashboard, let's just create something called new DP. So now I have a new dashboard. I click add apps, and on the right side, we have the data panel now. So you have the ability to get really, really creative, drag in as many data panels as you like or want to. And there's really no limit as to what you could do in terms of creativity. Now I can have 4 different data panels up. One can be just focused on, let's say, the sub-industry ranks, right? Another one can be just focused on my ratings. I like to use EPS or sales ratings. One can be just focused on price and volume, or you could size it any which way you like, all within that one data panel as well. So it's completely flexible in terms of the design. It automatically adapts, to vertical or horizontal. So if I go this way, it gives you 4 columns. If I go this way, whatever fits your particular orientation, we've made it really, really flexible and really easy for you to add that. Now, let's set up a new dashboard with the data panel. A lot of people like to have it on the right. It doesn't matter. The same UI exists, so I can drag it anywhere in my particular dashboard. I can have it on the right. I can have it in the middle. It doesn't really matter. It's personal preference. The second thing is if we drag in a chart, let's drag in a screener as well. So the way it works is the data panel, again, will talk to whichever group selection you have on. So if I have my data panel be part of group 1 and my screener is also part of group 1, when I change symbols, my data panel will also update. Now, if I change this screener to group selection 2, I change this, it will stop talking to my data panel. So that again can give you flexibility as to how you can use the data panel, or you can have multiple data panels be part of 2 different groups and then have one screen, a screener talk to a data panel and a second data panel talk to a second screener as well. Um, Now let's kind of set this up a little bit better in terms of use cases. Maybe Richard, you want to show your use cases first
Sure.
um, to give people different ideas as to how they can configure it.
Yeah, do you want to stop sharing?
Yes.
All right. All right, let me know when you see this.
Yes, I see your screen.
So this is an example, if you really want to dive into the group ranks, the sector ranks, the sub-industry ranks, this is a data panel setup that you can set up in your dashboard where I basically got a daily view on the left, a weekly view of the top sectors, sub-industry groups, and groups in this column, 1 month here, 3 month here. So as you go to the left, time frames are shortening. And then within this, we've got some industries in this row, group ranks in this row, and sectors in this row. So you can really see on different time frames what are the leading sectors, groups, and industry groups. So the data panel on the dashboard is super cool because, like Rye said, you have like unlimited flexibility in how you use it. I've already seen some great screenshots from people on Twitter sharing their setups, and I encourage you to do that. If you come up with something cool, let us know. We'll retweet it. But this is just a way if you really want to dive into the group ranks. This is a way to do it on multiple time frames. Then this is kind of a standard setup that you can use. I've got a main panel over here on the left, which is more fundamentals, group ranks, that type of thing. I've got earnings down here. I can quickly see that. I've got sales growth here as well vertically. And then I've got this top data panel. And this doesn't have too much information here, but I want to keep it that way. For me, this is kind of the most actionable data that I want to see, especially when executing during the day. Daily action over here on the right, the price percent change today, the run rate, DCR. I've also got post-market price percent change over here that I can quickly scroll to. Price percent change from the open, from the low. So this is kind of the actionable information. This tells me a little bit about the trend, up-down volume ratio, average daily range over the past 10 days. I've got that in there. So as I'm going through different charts, I basically can learn everything I need to know almost from this top data panel. And then if I want to dive deeper into the group ranks, the fundamentals over here on the left-hand side, that's what I use this main data panel for. And of course, I've got the stats table to view the estimates, see how much the beat was, all of that. So this setup with one data panel here, another data panel here. And by the way, I made this as a preset. So if you go over to dashboard presets and go over to two data panel dashboard, you should be able to basically load this up right away and edit it to suit your liking. This setup I think is a great way to make use of two data panels to have more actionable data points up here. And, if you want to go further in depth into a stock, have that over on the left-hand side. Right, before I move on to some of my other dashboards, was there anything you want to highlight about how you're using data panels and dashboard? Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, I keep it pretty simple with one for now. I've been thinking of making it so that I kind of segment my like the rankings. So the group, the industry rank and the top 10 stocks maybe in one, have price and volume be separate so that there's more segmentation. But with the limit of, how many stocks can be in a particular category or sorry, how many data points can be in a particular category being removed, I think I'll just continue to stick to one and have, the different buckets be the dividers that I
Yeah.
need. So
Yeah, let's see if are there any questions for me?
yeah, I
Feel
have
free to.
let's answer a few questions
Sure.
now. How is the rank calculated? So the rank is calculated in a couple of ways. One, we want to calculate based on the most liquid stocks or ones that have impact on the market's price action, right? The second is the liquidity requirement. So to include a stock, let's say that trades 20,000 shares a day is probably not the best idea because it can skew the calculation. We have a blend of equal weight and price weight as to how we calculate it. Now, the exact, formula, recipe, things of that nature will continue to improve as we see different situations, and the team will continuously work to improve those. But the exact calculation, again, from a business perspective, we want to keep in-house. I think we've done a really good job of getting the first iteration out and how it makes it really easy for you to see the top ranks right away. And that cocktail that we've kind of made as to how we rank will continue to improve as we get more feedback from users. So if you guys have any comments as to, hey, this is not making sense, that's not making sense, we'll continuously improve this. It's not a one-time release and we'll never look back type of thing. So
I see a question from Subakan. Could be nice to have an indicator like RV for consolidation for, let's say, it show how many weeks it's been in a cone. If you use the technical patterns, and let me close the chat here, technical patterns indicator, basically within these options, you can set it up so it plots when RMV is below a certain level. So we already have that functionality, and we'll be adding more of these type of indicators and pattern rec as we go through the coming months and into next year as well. So that's a good question. I saw one other question I want to answer here. RMV5 is just, I saw a question about that. RMV5 is when I set RMV value instead of a look back period of 15, I set it to 5. So the default is 15, but I like to use 5 on faster moving stocks, recent IPOs, and stocks recently after gaps. That's when I like to use RMV5. But by default, I usually have it on 15. It's kind of personal preference based on how quick you want the signal to move up and down and how quickly you want it to identify a tight area. Let's
Yeah.
see here.
I see a
Yeah, go ahead.
question on industry and sub-industry charts. We will get into that very soon in terms of calculating price data by sector, group, industry, or sub-industry. So we'll definitely be working on that now that we've released ranks and top 10 stocks. So we're kind of going in a very deliberate way as to how we want to execute that.
Yeah, I saw a question about, making the chart bigger. This is a setup where if I want to prioritize the chart, if, I don't care too much about having all the data points there, this is a setup and dashboard that prioritizes the chart, gives you a lot more room to work with. And then I also saw a question about when the fundamentals are coming. And I think that's a big question, Ryan. We should have addressed that earlier today. Can you give us an update on, where that's at and when we'll be, incorporating all those different data points that really give
Yeah,
you
so
whatever you want to know?
yeah, we have signed our deal with S&P Global. We do have access to uh, all the fundamentals that you guys could possibly think of, including guidance data, which is going to be coming as well. So the integration process has begun in terms of this will include, anything in your income statements, cash flow, balance sheets, all those
Margins,
metrics,
rows.
yeah, ROE, ROA, all of that data, we now have access to. Also funds data that a lot of people want. So is the number of funds increasing or decreasing? You already can envision, how we're going to implement that in the data panel. You'll click, a drop down and you'll see the history of number of funds that own a particular stock. There's a lot of ideas we have along with, as to how we want to implement that and what we want to do there as well. So we have the data. It's now, going through the process of actually implementing it, making it accessible to you guys as well. So that will be most of October, half of November. Probably by end of November or early December, we'll have that all in the platform. So you don't have to go to any different source or any other source to get your fundamental data. And this includes thousands of data points. We're just mentioning ROE, ROA, margins, and things of that nature. Just because they're most requested, it's the growth stock crowd that tends to use those as well. But it includes everything that you could possibly think of when it comes to fundamentals
What
as well.
about a short interest or days to cover?
Yeah, so we'll be integrating that on a global basis as well. Um, it will include the popular data points that you see, but also derivatives of those as well. So those are being planned out in October. We have that data as well to showcase to you guys. So data integration, once we get into the roadmap in a little bit here, it will be really clear as to what's coming up in Deepvue. So I see a few questions on trading journal. We will do a trading journal. We have it fully scoped out as to how we would want it. It will be deeply integrated into the screener, watch list, and dashboard modules, but it will also be available as a separate module as well. We'll have data broker integrations with IBKR, Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, all those that exist, all the popular ones. We'll start with a read-only integration, so we will read the trades that you've placed. You guys, say allow in terms of access that you guys want to give us. We'll calculate stats that, we have all the stats mapped out on how to calculate each. All the groundwork is done. It's just a matter of the sequence that we will go in to do a trading journal. The next question I wrote down was regarding laptop screens and making things more friendly. So uh, that UI is a huge focus. You guys will start seeing material improvements, especially on mobile first, as to how things look, feel in terms of, we're getting really granular with, how animations look, how things come into the viewport, how they leave the viewport. How does it feel when the user interacts with it? Do we need to, let the UI work and then do backend interactions in the background, things of that nature. So, a huge focus first is on the mobile side to catch up on that, make it look really good, make it feel really good. Some of it you guys are already seeing in the screener module that we released. It's far more professional, far more better looking, and we'll implement that for Watchlist, and then we'll come back to the web, do the same thing in terms of spacing, optimization of labels, padding, things of that nature. It is all being looked at. Um, and it's part of our a huge focus for part of the team in October to get some of those updates out. Um, I don't know if you answer this one, Richard, but it says RMV5. What is RMV5?
Yeah, I answer that.
Okay, perfect. Any plan on launching recommended actively managed portfolio? No, we're not going to get into the game of recommendation of things. Deepvue is purely a data platform and it will remain so. Our biggest focus is the big, high flexibility, give you all the data in one place, make it really fast and robust, and that will remain our focus for the foreseeable future. When we have nothing better to do, then we can probably create customized ETFs that trend and things of that nature, but that will come with once we finish everything we really want to finish, maybe in a couple of years, but definitely not
Right,
now.
right. Another update maybe worth mentioning is that the pre-market data points will be unlocked for heat map and bubble chart, if you want to mention
Yes,
that.
both of those will be available. It's fairly easy for us to do that. So we will enable those likely next week in next week's release. So those will be available.
Mike, to add a new dashboard, you want to click this data point up right here, and that will create a new dashboard, and then any dashboard that you have created will show up here at the top.
Okay. Let's go through the Q4 roadmap first, and then we'll continue and finish off with questions.
Go for it.
Because a lot of people I think are waiting for that first. So I started sharing. Let
Oh,
me know
I'll
if you
stop.
get
I'll stop share. I think I'm blocking it. Go ahead.
perfect. So I have a screenshot of the roadmap here.
Uh,
So
does everybody see Rye's screen? Just quickly. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, go for it.
awesome. So I kind of laid it out in terms of what we're going to accomplish when in terms of the application. So October. Our focus is next week, we're rolling out our time series database, which we've been speaking of for quite a bit. It's fully tested, and we're going to enable it on our smallest region, which is our users in Asia and that part of the world. The reason we're doing that is because it's a huge update in the background. We're moving every data point that is a point in time data point to a time series. So everything and every data point will have a history to it now. So to have minimal impact, we're going to make it live for our smallest region, which is the Asia folks in Australia, things of that nature, like that part of the world. We'll see how it responds there. Then we'll make it live in Europe. See how it impacts those users. If it's still performant, do we need to make any updates? And then we'll make it live in the USA, which is our biggest amount of users are in North America. So it's not to, have it be live elsewhere first and USA be last. It's a matter of minimal impact on the end user and making sure we test as we make it live. We test it for, see how it responds and then scale it up into different regions. That's the first thing. The second is dashboard optimization. So we released extensive optimizations for screener and watch list. Our next focus is to make the dashboard very fast, very responsive in terms of resizing, adding new apps, moving things around, making the grid even smaller so that you feel in complete control as to how you can resize any one of the apps. We're also optimizing the initial sizes of the apps that you're pulling in, so that they're not, big blocks that when they don't need to be. So that's also being looked at, and that's a focus in October. Third is chart integration. So we do have plans to move away from our existing charting engine to a Deepvue charting engine, which will unlock a lot of things for us and a lot of requests that users have had, like placing high and low price labels, or when you hover over a chart, I want the data points to show within the chart itself. So this new chart integration that we will be starting on will be deep views, and we will control the whole experience. We're not bringing in something from elsewhere and integrating it into our platform. It gives us, just like we did with the data panel or the stats table, we will completely control as to, what the experience will be with charts. We'll start working on that in October, and it will be a thing that will take us a couple of months. We've been working on it in the background for a couple of months as well. It's just more communication with the end user now as the, where we plan on doing this. The fourth thing I have is the formula builder. So Formula Builder itself includes a lot of optimizations on an infrastructure level for us. So what it will do is just like TC2000 or a Pine script or anything, Stock Charts has its own as well. So that type of engine where we give you guys a time series database, everything is based on has historical data to it. So if I'm looking at relative strength, it's not just relative strength today. You have a relative strength today and all the way back in time, as far back as we can possibly go. So Formula Builder will enable that, creativity on the end user side. When you guys request a data point from us, our actual core, founding team and folks on the content side will have access to it, and it will be really quick to deliver new data points as well. Then we have a couple of watch lists updates. So we're almost done manual sorting. So the ability to move and manually sort your watch list, the ability to drag a symbol from your watch list to another watch list sections. So these are the three updates that we're working on in October for watch list. And then in November, we'll do combo list, which is, again, you can combine any screen or any watch list together as well. And that will be in November. Product tour. So a lot of folks, when they join Deepvue, we're starting to add a lot of functionality. And what we're focused on now is making onboarding really, really easy. You guys, as existing folks that already use it, will also see this product tour so that it will kind of walk you through the application on what's what, what's where, and why is, where everything is placed. So you get oriented really, really quickly. Again, this will help us with existing folks learning the application, but new people onboarding a lot quicker so they can benefit from it. Rating updates are already live. So we released the EPS rating updates. We've done extensive amount of work there to include IPO names. There's an email also sent out if you're a subscriber already. And we also pushed out a sales rating update as well. Both of them are really well done now. Our initial iteration wasn't, the best. This one is really good. Check it out. If you guys have any comments, give us that feedback. We'll continuously improve these rating systems to account for different things and situations when it comes to EPS sales or any of the proprietary ones that we have in the platform. Like I spoke about earlier, UI UX improvements on both web and mobile. So we're going to start to kind of simplify a lot of what the screener looks like, the watch list looks like, maybe remove some options to make the experience even better because we have one too many ways of doing the same thing. So there's an extensive audit being done for both the web app and the mobile app in terms of, just a top down, where are we at? What have we done the past 2 years? And is it time to simplify, the experience a little bit? Because for some users, it's very easy to pick up, and then we get feedback from other users that it's not so easy to pick up. So we want to make that, find that middle ground with these UI UX improvements on mobile and web. The last one, which a lot of you guys have been asking for quite a while. So we signed a price data deal on a global basis to go back and have data from 1970 to 2024. from 1970 and onwards. We have data for indexes going back to 1928, which will be part of this time series rollout. You guys will start to see that. We will start to talk about it a lot more. Uh, Fundamentals, which will be through S&P Global, the well-reputed company, really high quality data. We've done extensive testing on the data itself. Any fundamental data point that you could think of, including guidance. I think guidance will be a huge step forward, not to just look at estimates, but to look at a company's guidance data and how that correlates with price action as well. Breadth data in terms of individual symbols that give you some actionable data about how the health of the market. Crypto, so a 24/7 crypto integration will be coming as well. That's something we'll work on the next 2 months. And then Forex. Forex might not make it this year. Be transparent. There's been not a lot of demand, but we do have access to that data, and we do have the option to integrate it as well. But we'll do crypto first because that's way higher demand.
Ryan, before you go to November, I will say in October we'll also be adding a lot more presets, so both on the data panel side as well as dashboard side. So just making more options based on stage analysis methodologies, Mark Minervini's methodology. Any of the traders kind of in our top trader screens will kind of be creating a data panel or a dashboard setup that is reminiscent of their style. So for those of you who are looking forward to that, I think I definitely want to mention that. And if you have any requests for different traders, definitely let us know either right now in the chat or in the Q&A, or always you can always send us an email through support if you want a top trader screen indicator, what have you. Let us know and we'll add it to the roadmap.
Yeah, so November is about we will start working on when we say front end is basically the UI aspect of it. So we'll finish the logic of the formula builder in October, then shift our focus to how do we get it to you guys so you guys can then interact with it, build a different, and formulas, screens, all of that. And all of November we'll have a portion of the team just dedicated to finishing the UI, and we expect the release of the formula builder to finally be before we head out for holidays for Christmas and New Year. So that's really our goal. It's a huge focus. Part of it was based on the time series, which is now being rolled out. The next step is to finish the logic, then we finish the UI, and then we get to release it to you guys to get feedback and then continue to improve upon it. Global Search UX, it refers to the fact that we'll have breadth and crypto data. So we want to make it easy for you guys to search symbols within different universes. So there will be a stocks, um, crypto, and a breadth tab that will be there. The pinned UI will be coming to screener module as well. And also on mobile as well, like you guys saw, we were using the new pinned UI for screens. Data panel will come to mobile. So now that we've integrated it to the dashboard, the next step is to get it on mobile. You guys will have access to, infinite number of data points on the go and at one glance as well. We're trying to make the UI for the data panel on mobile very beautiful so that it's very easy on the eyes when you share it, let's say on social media, or you take a screenshot or you send it to someone. It's very easy to see the data all in one kind of, on your phone at once. We'll continue working on the new chart integration and continue the work on integrating new fundamental data, pricing data, breadth and crypto. That will be an ongoing thing throughout the quarter to see how, as much as we possibly can, let's integrate new data into the platform. December is, half the team will go on holidays, so very minimal in terms of our biggest focus will be we want to get a beta version or some sort of version of the formula builder active out there in your hands to gather feedback over the holidays and the new, early in the new year so that we can then plan out Q1 of next year. And then just do minor improvements across the board. It's a really good, the more we give people that time off, they'll come refreshed. Our development team especially come refreshed after the new year and really hit the ground running in Q1 next year, which the focus will then shift to journal. And Q1's focus, the biggest focus in Q1 will be to get a initial version of our journal out as well. So that's the Q4 roadmap. A lot of things. These are just high level points that I've covered that are easy to communicate to you guys. Obviously, there will be smaller updates like Richard's is finalizing new RMV like indicator for oversold and overbought areas or reversal extensions or exhaustion extensions, right? We'll have some more stock beat indicators that are being worked on and highly requested that will be part of the charting module. There's a lot of minor stuff that you guys request that I haven't included here because the list will be way too long, which will also be accomplished. But these are the high level
Yeah.
points
I
that
think
we want to hit.
I think Steven asked, or maybe it was Peter, will there be videos accompanying all these releases? And I said yes, eventually, because I'll be busy based on all the stuff we'll be adding. So I'll be working hard on it, but we'll do our best. We'll always have kind of a knowledge base article with all these releases explaining things, and then yeah, there'll be a video accompanying them.
Yes, there will be a lot more video work. If you guys are on the YouTube channel, you probably want to turn on notifications there. We'll post a lot more raw content, not tutorials only type of. So if we have a design that we want to share, get feedback on, we'll post it to YouTube and try to crowdsource a lot of the thought process as much as we possibly can, just like we do on X. If you guys follow us there already, but we're going to take that to the YouTube side to basically, we have an idea, but we crowdsource it, get more thoughts, and improve it a lot quicker so that the initial version that we get to you guys is a lot more improved and more well thought out. Um, so yeah, percent short, days to cover, that's definitely gonna make it. Bitcoin tickers, that's the crypto data, real-time crypto consolidated feed. Um, Crypto will be after fundamentals. Definitely any active Discord for Deepvue users. So I've seen this a couple of times today. We'll speak on it. The hard part is for us to dedicate resources to something like that because I really want the core team or the whole team to really focus on making the platform the best as possible, not managing people in the Discord. So we did have that. We got rid of it. Maybe we bring it back when we have resources. Any
There's a question on
pre-
indices and maybe the news module. Uh, yeah,
So index it. So first is fundamentals, pricing data, crypto. We'll get all these three into the platform. We'll see where we're at. We might have to take some time to then optimize everything so that we can't sacrifice speed for just new data. So news and indexes will likely be a Q1, Q2. News I do want to make in make it part of the Q1 roadmap. Initial plans were obviously to get that into Q4. Planning with a SaaS type of product is really hard because each step of the way we can't sacrifice performance. And over the last, I would say, 3 to 5 months, performance has been a huge focus for us and continues to be a huge focus into Q4. We want the stability, reliability of the platform to take that step so that it becomes an afterthought. Uh, so since we're 2 years from our initial release, it's a good time to really put that kind of issue to bed. Have some more initial fundamental and pricing data come in, and then we'll take a look at news and indexes in Q1 next year. iPad version is definitely part of the roadmap. We'll finish, when I say finish, what we will complete what our initial plans were for the mobile app on iOS and Android by adding a home screen, a couple of widgets that you can then add to your home screens on Android and iOS. We'll pause there, including the data panel. We'll pause there, and then we'll do the same thing for iPad and then we'll come back and then continue forward with both the mobile and the iPad version. So that's kind of the game plan there. Nothing on news. I feel sad. News will
sure.
happen. It's just next. It's not part of the Q4. It will be part of the Q1 next year.
Do you want to mention how we'll have S&P spy data going back to the 80s, or no, it's even further back in the
Yeah.
80s.
So
You can even show it
well,
on staging maybe if you want to bring it up, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, so we will have it from 1928 and forward on a daily time frame. So the same thing with the Dow Jones and the Russell It's the same thing for some of the sentiment type of data points. Really old data for AAII, for folks that follow that from like 1960s, I believe. So we have a lot of data, but this step that we took with the time series to actually finish it, have it out, is a huge part of making new integrations faster and more possible. So, um, will UI UX improvements include tooltips? Yes, they will. Can we have the data? Okay, so I'm going through the chat. I don't see. Um, okay, let's go to the Q&A tab, answer some of those, and we'll wrap it up. Can we copy market surge dashboard and add to the presets? Richard, that's probably something for you to look at. I don't know which dashboard market surge has, but
Yeah,
if
we can create something similar, especially when we get all the S&P data in there.
yes. Same question again on the ROE debt number of funds. That's this quarter. Like we said with the S&P Global data, we have access to all the fundamental data that you could possibly think of, and that will be implemented this quarter. Does Okay, do we have index charts and volume? So we will have S&P, Russell, Nasdaq, that type of data historically this coming up. But real-time index data in terms of as the market trades, that will likely be next year. Any plans on breadth data? So we talked about that. I don't know if you just joined, but breadth data, it will be worked on this quarter. Okay, comp SPX available in October, November. Comp and SPX will be end of day updates on a daily basis uh, in October when we roll out the time series, and then real time next year in Q1 next year. This is a really good question. So any way to add symbols from data panel directly to a watch list? So that's something we've thought of on, how do we want to integrate that? Maybe we bring in the logos, but then we thought it would crowd the UI way too much. But that's something we're thinking about. Maybe we do a right click add type
I
of
think right
thing.
click, yeah, I
Yeah.
think right clicks make sense.
Yeah, so we'll definitely work on that. We've thought of that so that it makes the workflow quite easy. Um, do you have any recommendations or plans on how to? So trading questions is really not the topic of conversation today. If you want to tag Richard and me on X, we could definitely answer that. Uh, you mentioned Deepvue market cycle indicator in the swing trading webinar. Yes, that is being coded next week, and we will have it in the platform. I'll make a video on it. Uh, it's a really simple one, but I think it's really effective. It goes with the market cycle concept that I use. We'll have it in the platform next week. It's not mentioned here. It's very minor. Is the data panel you're using, you're discussing a preset. So we will be adding more presets.
Yeah.
Is there a way to show sector rotation in charts? So we don't have RRGs just yet in terms of sector rotation. We'll work on RRGs as a dashboard app, likely early next year. Any updates on fundamentals coming from this? So I already did that. All fundamentals are coming very soon. How can you quickly reach stocks in a particular sector? So let's do that just to showcase again. So if I want particular stocks in a sector, so energy, for example, I go to data panel. I add one of the rank sector ranks. It will give me the ranks of all of these 1 to 11 for sectors. There's 11 sectors in the USA markets. You click that, and these are all the stocks in this particular sector. You just update it to energy up top. I click this. It says 298 stocks. It says 298 here, and these are all the stocks in the energy
And
space.
you can exit out by clicking that X in the search bar if you want to go back to the list you were looking at.
Yeah. So if you want to go back to the scan that you were on, you just X out of this. It picks up this one back. So it's 145, whereas this is 298.
Do you want to touch on historical screening? That's something a few people have mentioned, and I know with the time series database, that's kind of a step towards that. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, so time series is a step towards that. We likely won't enable it right away, but uh, one of the steps can be, I want to run the screen not on today's data, but on some other days, right? Is that the question? We will have that capability in our backend. I'll discuss with the team. We haven't really discussed on where we want to prioritize that, but with the time series database, like I spoke about, it makes it really easy for us to do that now. Maybe I don't want to make any like, hey, we'll do this exactly in this particular month or things of that nature, but it will be doable. Likely a Q1 next year thing. So any indicator requests, please go to the bottom left here on help, click roadmap, request the feature, give us all the details that you guys can possibly give us, and we have, in the background, we make it live, people vote on it, whatever gets voted is done, prioritized accordingly. So there was a plan for hotkeys. Is that paused now? No. Plan for hotkeys is kind of part of the UI updates that will come through to make everything more accessible. They've been planned out for quite a while now. It's just a matter of working on them. And once we finish some of the other updates on simplifying the UI, spacing, how things look in dark and light mode, how do we want, do we want 5 different ways to add things to something in terms of watch lists? Once we simplify some of that experience, hotkeys is part of improving the UX, which the user experience. Okay. I don't want to miss any, but maybe this feature really exists. Can we go back? So Dan has a question. Maybe this feature already exists, but can we have the date the stock was added to the screener slash preset so we know it's fresh? We don't have that right now. The screener that we have right now is a real-time screener. If what you're going for is I'm running a screen, when did this stock first show up on my screen? That would be like a daily thing. It might meet the criteria today, but not yesterday, but we don't have that what the particular thing you're referring to in the platform just yet. When will the enhanced volume be updated? That's part of why we're moving away from this charting engine is the lack of flexibility. We don't really control the whole experience. We have a lot of ideas when it comes to charting that we cannot implement. So part of that move and getting our own charting engine that we fully control, it's our source code, it's coded by us type of thing. This will help us, then we can implement this. It's just the restrictions that we have by using, another charting engine that kind of limits us in our creativity at the moment. Okay, when will DV eventually make layouts like Richard available to us? I think it's important not to forget that many customers do not like spending time on the software. The more you do, the more sticky. So the ability to share dashboards will be enabled soon. The ability to share chart layouts will be part of the plan when we go to and migrate from our existing to the new, our own charting engine. So what will happen is basically very similar to how we share screens. When I click these 3 dots, or when I click, okay, when I click this and I click share to copy it to clipboard, it will be very similar where I can share my layout with you or n number of people.
It's 12 o'clock.
And also, if I make an update, I can share, I can turn on sync so that when I make updates to my chart layout, you guys will automatically receive it, or when Richard makes those updates as well. So it's part of the plan. But again, our focus is now shifting from improving this charting engine to having something that we completely control and can do anything that we possibly think of with. So that's our focus going forward. Okay, great presentation. how long, in terms of moving away from one chart to the other charting, probably a quarter or two. Our goal is before end of or before start of April next year. Okay, loads of questions coming through. People want chat rooms for members. Model book for EPs. Is that no. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna focus on functionality first. Creating model books within Deepvue is the least of our focus, especially for Q4.
We will eventually, though, on that note,
Yeah.
have a module dedicated to you creating your own model books, and you can store them and load historical charts and all that. So the functionality to create them, we'll be integrating that. But in terms of creating content like that, um, that's not that's more on the TL side, the education side. We'll be focusing more on functionality here.
Awesome. So
I think just maybe one or two more questions, right? And then we can call
yeah,
it.
can we have a date of the, okay, so this is a asked again. Can we drag and drop the chart to add ticker to the watch list anywhere in the table? Can we drag and drop from the chart to add the ticker to the watch list anywhere in the table? Um, no. I think the question is like, if I have IoT, I want to drag IoT into my watch list. We don't have that just yet. Can we expect moving averages on multi-charts? Yes. It will be done. We need to overhaul, like completely redo this setup with our new charts. You guys will actually see our new charts on multi-charts first. Um, you'll see how fast that experience is. Because that's easier for us to do and integrate and move away from this engine. So that will actually happen first, and then we'll bring that to the main single charts. So this will actually happen as part of our move to new charts. Is it possible to open multiple deep views, have a couple of monitors, and they talk to each other? It is possible to have three instances of Deepvue open on the same computer. So that could be three different dashboards. In terms of dashboard, one instance talking to another, that is not possible at the moment. A lot of people have requested that we have a way to pop out the data panel into a separate window. We've been thinking of that, but I think once we get dashboard optimizations complete, focus on more data integrations, then we'll get into this multi-screen type of. It introduces a lot of overhead. It introduces a lot more, I'd say, bugs into, because everybody has different devices. Now you're on a 4K and a Retina display, and we got to take into account all those situations at the same time. Will margin and fundamental analysis be coming to Deepvue? Yes. Again, the S&P data, the margin fundamentals are part of that. Anything in income sheets, balance sheets, cash flow statements, anything that's reported by any company to the SEC you could call fundamental data. We will have access to that data, not just on a current basis, but also historical over the last 15 to 20 years. Is there a way to have a say? Is there a way to say 21-day moving average on a 5-minute chart? Richard explained this a while ago. You could do some math, but what I would say is we need to make the key
Key
moving
moving
averages
averages. Yeah.
indicator to automatically calculate that rather than having people do it. So I will do that. We will get that out. It's just a mathematical thing. So. Love it. Keep it up. Own growth stock in the softer market. Thanks, Scott. Um, we got 4 more. Let's see if we can catch up. On your presets on dashboard, I can't get a new chart by clicking on the left hand symbol. So presets on dashboard are non-editable. You have to make a duplicate of that particular preset for you to do what you want. So think of dashboard presets as as starting points. And if you really like this, all you do is you go to presets, and the preset that you like, you click the three dots and you duplicate it. And then once you duplicate it, you could resize, you could take that template that we just gave you, and you could do anything that you could possibly think of with that particular template. So I am able to edit and see the resizers because I'm an admin on the backend side. So I can mess things up. But for you guys, when you load presets, you won't see the resizers. You won't see the ability to take this drop down and make it, another thing until and unless you duplicate it, right? So we've done that intentionally. So think of these as templates. Maybe we even change the word presets to templates. I'm not sure for dashboard, but think of these as starting points.
You're falling behind,
Okay.
right?
Any active Discord, we'll think of it. A lot of you have mentioned it today. Is dashboard a shareable link? So I can share my dashboard. We disabled it because we wanted to think it through a little bit. But if I take my daily screens, I could probably share it with you guys right now. There are some features that I have access to that are not. Actually, I can't see. No. They disabled it for me as well. So sharing will be enabled. We had it enabled and then it didn't work too well. So what we did was we just kept it to screener and watch list, and then we'll enable it on dashboard sometime, in a couple of weeks probably. We just wanted to think through the logic. It didn't make too much sense. So, okay.
I think one more, right? One more good one.
Charting engine sometime this year on multi charts. Best case, we do all of it this year, but we'll see how it goes. But before April. So the Black Friday deal, let's go, champ. So for the Black Friday deal, like I spoke about, like making it early. All you guys could, what we will do is if you could click help if you're in the application already, click messages, send us a message, and just message Black Friday deal, and I'll have the support team send you the blurb on it, if you want it right away. So just message hello@deepvue.com with the words Black Friday deal. The support team will take care of you, or message it within the application. Send us a message, start that new conversation, and just the words Black Friday deal. So we'll go through each of those tickets probably Monday morning when the support team is back, and we'll send you the offer. I don't want to say it here because we want to offer it to the live attendees. If you're watching the recording, you can still reach out to us, and we'll take care of you that way, and we'll send you the offer. Templates makes total sense. Perfect. Any preview? No previews. No, we don't have a preview just yet. It's not on our staging. It's on our dev environment. We're still scoping out and things that we want to do with that. But one thing will be for certain, we will have complete control of the UI. We will get to do things that we actually want with a charting module. We have some really creative ideas, and it will be part of Deepvue. So when it's part of Deepvue, I can right click, maybe access my watch list. I can right click, maybe do certain actions uh, that I would want to be doing. It allows us to add pattern recognition a lot faster and do it ourselves instead of depending on someone else, right? So it's all about, these charts are great. They got us here. We're 2 years in. We're a really good, business. We have the resources to do it on our own, but we have really creative ideas that we want to implement. And that's what the new chart engine's about. We get to do exactly what we think people want with our charts and, control that whole experience. MA breakout alerts. So alerts in terms of optimization, conditional alerts will be a December thing. And we will try to add conditional alerts in December, if not Q1 of next year, for sure. Any way to expand one chart to full screen from within a multi-chart?
So the
Yes,
mini
there
chart.
is a way. Uh, let's see. I'm actually not sure. So,
Not currently. I don't think.
okay, I see. No, there isn't. There isn't a way to like blow this one up and then get rid of it and then go blow up the next one. We don't have that just yet. So I'll write it. We should write that down. Take it back.
And by the way, guys, I just want to say thank you guys all for your ideas, your feedback in this meeting. That's our goal today. You guys have a huge voice in the development of Deepvue, especially when coming to these meetings, submitting feature requests, all of that, upvoting features that you already see on the roadmap that you'd like to see us bring to the platform. That's a way that you can directly help us, direct our resources, know what to prioritize, all of that. So if you have any feature requests, I'll drop the roadmap link one more time in there, as well as you can access it through the help module as Ryan showed. Let me copy that. Oh, I can't copy. Let me give me one sec. Roadmap, copy there.
There's a really good question on showing earnings flags in multi-charts. We should be able to do that pretty quick. Um that would be nice. I agree. There's a lot of good ideas on multi-charts. So Black Friday, the early Black Friday, just email our support, hello@deepvue.com with the words Black Friday, and we'll take care of it. So it's as simple as that. Just email hello@deepvue.com with the words Black Friday deal, and the support team will take care of you. If you're within the platform already, click help, go to messages, start a new message, and just use the words Black Friday deal. We'll send it over. How many people are on this call? A lot of people are on this call. They're starting to fall off because it's been more than an hour.
Because you're talking too much.
Okay. I think we've answered everything. I don't see anything in Q&A. Thanks so much for joining. This will be on YouTube if you're watching. If you guys have any questions, leave those down in the comments. Feel free to reach out to our support team at any time at hello@deepvue.com. If you guys have any questions about, if you're thinking of signing up, something's, you have a question on, we're more than happy to answer that. If you're an existing, subscriber, always reach out through the messages and start a new message. Our support team's amazing. They're always available and willing to help. We're improving really, really, really fast. 2 years in, we've accomplished a lot of things. And I can't thank you guys enough for the support that we've gotten, to do something like this. It's a pretty massive project to take on, but you guys make it really, really easy with your feedback, your positivity, your, constructive criticism as to what we need to improve on. All of that, kind of goes in and plays a huge role in us improving and really, getting things done for the platform. So we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining, and then we'll see you guys in the next monthly update video next month.